Welcome to the Closing Table with host Tamera, where we break down how to be successful in real estate and what it's really like to work in the real estate business. This is the Closing Table with Lawyer's Title.
Welcome back to another episode. I'm your host, Tamera. Today, we're going to talk about 3 simple strategies for real estate agents to create effortless content. Are you ready? But first, if you like my content, you're really going to love my escrow team. So give me an opportunity to introduce you to them. You can reach out to me on any of my social media platforms, and let's get a conversation started about your title needs. Today's guest really doesn't need an introduction, but I'm going to give him one anyway. Jason Esparza, also known as The Rook, someone that I've partnered with for, we did the track back to 2009, 2010, 2011 is when we met around that. Yeah.
A while ago.
And he has been an incredible educator to agents. And I wanted to have him back on. Amber and Jason have been doing events for agents again recently. And they've got their company Influential Agent, where they have helped agents become the default choice for referrals. And so I had Amber on a couple of weeks ago, and I wanted Jason to come on because he's going to talk about a lot of things that I may not be able to talk about. But look, here's the thing, guys.
It's not that they're inappropriate.
No, it's not that they're inappropriate.
Okay.
But what I do appreciate is I'm going to turn it to you guys for today. And I'm going to be the one that he's going to inform about how to create content and be able to do it yourself, because not everybody has the opportunity to record content in a studio like what I'm doing in right now. So let's make it easy on everyone to be able to do it themselves.
Let's have the conversation.
So Jason, thank you for being an incredible partner and friend to me and Lawyer's Title.
Yeah.
You have really helped a lot of agents throughout your career, and I want you to know that that is recognized.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Thank you very much for being on the show today.
Yeah, I'm excited. We could talk about marketing and ideas.
Okay. So I'm one of those that likes to dive right in.
Okay. I'm ready.
So we are talking about 3 simple strategies today.
3 simple strategies.
So there's the first strategy.
The first strategy, it's a bit challenging. It's the idea or coming up with content ideas for the interwebs. So if I want to put content out there, it's easy to go to a convention, or it's easy to go listen to these people that are doing it very well. And they just go, you just got to, turn your camera on, you got to talk, you just got to do this. And there's agents that have been in this business for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, decades upon decades. And when you say, hey, you can just create content, they're like, I don't know what to say. What do you mean? Like, give me an idea. And so how do we tap into all this experience and knowledge and expertise that most agents have? How do we pull that out? And so it really is as simple as the first step in making content easy would be to leverage the knowledge that you already have. Well, how do I do that? That's always a question that we don't get.
It is always the question of how do you do that? Because whenever we talk to people, anyone, I'm not talking about realtors in particular right now, anyone, it's I don't know what to say.
Yeah. I don't know what to say. And then you want to go, yeah, you do.
Yes, you do.
Yes, you do. How do we draw that out? It is very simple. We do 3 steps. Step number 1 is pick an emotion.
An emotion of whose emotion are we picking out?
Typically human emotions. Just any.
No, I understood. Well, I didn't go there, but but thank you Thank you so much for clarifying human emotion.
Yes.
Pick an emotion, but whose emotion are our own emotion? So
when we talk about emotion, I say let's back up. Content in general tends to be we overthink it. And so I'm going to
100%.
So let me say these 3 steps, and then we can go deeper into
Okay,
them.
perfect. Okay.
First, pick an emotion.
Yep.
Second, pick an audience who you're talking to. And the third step is to write down as much as you can.
Yes.
And so I have an example.
Okay.
So we're going to pick the emotion fear.
Okay. Because
people are afraid. So you either stick or carrot emotions. Fear is a stick emotion. We run away toward fear, toward pleasure. Or we're more likely to run away from fear versus
I don't run away from pleasure, but sometimes fear.
That's what I'm saying. Anyway, so if I was to pick fear as an emotion, and then I got to pick an audience of who I am going to target, and that audience could be sellers, it could be veterans, it could be whatever thing that you want or person that you want to work with. Okay.
But you kind of skated over that a little bit because you said buyers or veterans or anyone that you want to work with.
Mhm.
So typically it's a buyer or seller, right? And then it's what kind of buyer do you want to work with? So you can even break it down. You can say broad as a buyer or seller
Mhm.
is what you're saying, or you can break it down even further if you're trying to target a particular kind of buyer. Does that make sense what I just said?
Yes. When you first get started doing this, it is very common for you to go buyer or seller. However, if you want to get more precise, you will have a greater chance of really reaching a specific person. And it's counterintuitive to how we think. We want to market to the masses. But if you're trying to talk to everyone, you're in fact talking to no one because I can't relate to you. But if I said, hey, I want to focus on veterans, or more specifically, I want to focus on veterans that were in the Army, then you have a much narrow audience that you're talking to, and you stand to gain a lot more traction a lot faster versus saying, I'm going after home buyers. I'm like, okay, well, I don't know what that means. Are you talking about someone buying a $300,000 home or someone buying a $1 million home? Because those are vastly
very
different people.
So thank you. That's where I was wanting you to go with that.
All right. I got there.
Not that you, okay, that sounded condescending. I didn't mean for it to. It was just, that's what I wanted you to clarify is that I do agree that the more specific that you get, the more you're actually going to connect with someone with your content.
Well, I think that if we're focusing on 3 easy steps, then I would rather an agent just start with buyer and seller. Okay. And then as they get more advanced, then they can go deeper into it and really
like
get specific.
Yep.
Because I just want you to take that first step.
Perfect. Yes.
So you pick an emotion, you pick an audience. And again, I'll use fear. I'll use someone looking to buy a home. We'll just start with basics.
Okay.
And then my job is to write down as many sentences as I can around those 2 ideas. So what is someone scared of? So you could probably finish these sentences. So if I said, what are they afraid of? I'm worried that, or I have a fear that, or I'm scared of, and start to really write sentences about what are some fears that people have when moving. Hey, I'm worried that my kids aren't really going to enjoy the move, or they're worried about, what are they worried about? What are their spouses worried about? What are their kids worried about? Once you start really diving deep into someone who's buying a home, what are they really worried about or stressed about or nervous about? These are all real human emotions. And the more things I can jot down in my mind as a marketer, that's just way more content that you can start approaching, because you're not just taking from your perspective. I'm a realtor and I'm supposed to be in control. That's great and that's wonderful. But when you start creating content around things that I can relate to, hey, have you ever been worried about getting into a home and, man, the doctors that you need for your family just aren't anywhere around you? Well, let me put that at ease, because, let me show you the top 5 doctors that you're going to want to know inside of Allen, Texas. You're coming at it completely differently.
Well, and I like how you said that, because to me, I don't want to do too much content created around fear or scared or worried, because to me that comes across negatively. But the way you finished it, or you responded to that worry, was let me put your fears at ease, which turns it feels more positive at the end. So I think if we tee it up where, like, let's just not pick that one emotion and do a whole bunch of content around I'm worried all the time.
Well, I think that when you leverage emotions, you are correct. You do have to say, I'm not wanting to scare people.
Yeah.
I'm picking an emotion like nervousness or worry or stressed because I want to let them know that I'm here to take care of them.
Perfect.
But I
love
can't
that
talk to you in your emotion if I'm like, I'm gonna take care of it, and I'm gonna be your best friend and everything's gonna go smoothly. But if I was to come and say, are you worried about this? Well, here's how I'm going to make sure that you don't have to.
Yeah, I love that.
X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And so again, going back to these steps, I pick an emotion, I pick an audience, and I start writing out as number of sentences I can that are going to relate to that. And if you don't want to use fear, if you want to use I'm excited about, what are they excited about? What are they, what they are looking forward to? And then you could take those exact same emotions. I'm talking to, what is someone who is relocating to Texas from out of state excited about? And then I'm excited I could possibly go to a Cowboys game, or I'm excited I could possibly go here, or if they're a fan of the Cowboys, we're assuming it's America's team.
I mean, aren't we all?
No.
I know everybody asks me it because of where I work. People ask me that all the time.
Do you love the Cowboys?
I'm like, yeah.
Do I?
I do. Anyway.
So by doing that and by having these emotional ties, you are going to connect a lot easier than falling into the trap that I see most agents doing, which is more just factual data. hey, let's talk about this neighborhood, and this neighborhood has 700 homes, and it's got this, and the average median income is this, and that's all well and good, but that's data that I can know, but is it going to pull me into wanting to know more about you?
No, I really like it because, look, it is an emotional decision, even though it's their biggest financial decision. And sometimes, you think that it should be more logical or whatever. It's where they're going to live. It is a very emotional decision, and trying to connect to somebody who's trying to buy or sell their house, it's very emotional for them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'll give you an example. So my neighbor down the, she's going to kill me for saying this, but my neighbor down the street, she called
What's her name?
No. And, nope. She has her house up for sale, and I don't want her to move, so I threatened to put the listing sign in my garage. Anyway, she had 3 offers. She's been under contract twice now. The second one, she was like, she was trying to get them to terminate because she didn't want them buying her house. And so it doesn't matter why. It just, what I'm saying is, I'm like, why do you care? You're leaving, But it's that people are incredibly emotionally tied to their homes, right? And so this is the first time that I've heard someone, a coach, step in and say to start with an emotion. And to me, that makes a lot of sense because it is an emotional decision. So I think maybe it's a little bit better or easier way to try to connect with someone.
It's a lot easier because these are emotions that we have felt. I think the greatest thing about realtors is that they are also consumers. And even though they do have the skill set to help someone buy or sell a home, they have also bought and sold a home. And so some of them even got into the industry because they didn't have a great experience with their realtor, or they're like, that's all they did? I can do this. And then they jump in.
Yeah.
But inside of that, they understand the emotions that they go through. But there's one sub thing that I'd like to talk as a bonus to talk about is the fact that it's not just from their perspective, it's from their perspective and everyone tied to that. So I kind of touched on it earlier. Don't just write from their perspective. What are their kids' perspective? What are their kids might be worried about? What are their spouse might be worried about? What are their parents might be worried about, or attach whatever emotion you want to it. Because now I can speak not only to one person, but their spouse might be feeling this way, or their kids might be feeling this way. And maybe I helped you as a parent explain the moving process to their child that they never know how to articulate. I look like a pretty good person.
I like it.
So step number 1.
And by the way, you got some secret content in there. If you were paying attention, you got some content.
That's a bonus just for you, just for the viewing audience. So that's step 1. Step 1 is coming up with ideas. Probably the biggest hurdle that most agents have is well, like you said, what to say.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we've just given you 3 steps that you can do to make that happen. So that's off the table. That's now off the table.
What's step 2?
Step 2.
What's step 2, Jason?
Step number 2 in easy content creation for real estate is all about taking those ideas. Probably if you thought the first one was a pretty big hurdle, the second one is even
it's giant. I'm
more
pretty
difficult.
sure we skated over that one a little too quickly.
I thought this was supposed to be easy. The second step in your content is needing to turn these sentences that you've created, that you wrote, into either a story-driven post or a script for a video.
Okay.
And
now we're stuck.
Now we're stuck. You're like, great.
How do we make a script?
I got 35 sentences.
Wait, the title is Simple Strategies.
Well, it is. It really is. Okay, so one of the things that we can do, and this is the easiest thing, believe me, is to leverage AI, or I'll say ChatGPT because that's what it is, to ask you really good questions about what you want to talk about. And so we'll go back to our first step and said, I wrote a sentence that said, they're worried about their kids moving into a no home. Let's take that sentence right there. I will then go to ChatGPT and I will have ChatGPT ask me really great questions about that topic. And what that does is allows me to flesh that out more. Because there's more I want to say, I just don't know how to say it. I don't know how to put it into words. I can't take my experience and knowledge. I really need help someone asking me. Okay. And that's where we can leverage AI.
Well, but I think in order to get where we want to go with AI, I mean, I've played around with it some, then I told Amity to do it.
Delegate.
I've heard the guys talk about it on their podcast. I've heard other coaches, everybody's talking about AI. But anyway, you've got to work with it some.
Yeah.
to get the output where you want it to be. So
Correct.
do you want to back up just a touch and
Back it up.
talk about how you get AI to do what you want it to do?
Absolutely.
Okay.
In fact, there's 3 easy steps with that as well.
3 more easy steps. Okay. What are we calling this one? 3
easy steps for story-driven posts, if you want to.
Okay.
Okay. So ChatGPT, it came to our industry. I saw a ton of people teaching on it. We did a couple classes on it, and I don't see it anymore. Kind of, it was like, and then I've been using ChatGPT every single day.
You use it, Jesse?
Every day.
And so everybody uses it every day.
It's really is a wonderful tool that can do a lot. However, we've got to understand how to talk to it. I saw classes of people talking about ChatGPT, and it was like, it can write Instagram posts for them. Like, yeah, it can, but let me share with you how I take a look at ChatGPT, and maybe this will help you out, because it really is a powerful tool when it comes to this specific exercise that we're talking about. So I take a look at ChatGPT, and the first thing I do is I tell ChatGPT who it is. Okay, you're my social media person. You're my script writer for Instagram Reels. But I don't just stop there. I go into pretty amazing detail. You've in the past, you've worked for Gary Vee, you've worked for Tony Robbins, or name your influencer you wanted to have worked for. You've been in business for 12 years. One of your favorite sales books that you tend to go back to is the 22 Immutable Laws of Marketing. This has been a cornerstone of how you perceive things. That is me telling ChatGPT exactly who it is. So if you were to take a look at a prompt, which is how you talk to ChatGPT, mine tend to be like paragraphs, because I absolutely want ChatGPT to know exactly who it is so that it can draw on that influence.
Well, it's you.
What?
Right? I mean, you're telling it who it is. Aren't all of these things that you're listing maybe things that are yours?
No.
Oh, okay.
I never worked for Tony Robbins in the past.
Oh, I didn't listen to that. I missed that part.
No, it's okay. You could definitely, if you wanted
to Gary Vee and your favorite book and been in the business for X amount of years.
If you wanted to, I went really super deep, and I started looking at the heart of traits for communication directors, and if you want to go that geeky into it, I went Jedi.
I mean, you
want to,
yeah, you.
But just understanding that you can't just tell ChatGPT you're a social media marketing manager and give me this. It's not going to give you what you want, and it's not going to sound like you, and that's what we're really going for.
Well, I think a lot of people say the more specific you get with it, the better output that you're going to get. But specific how? Like, how do you get specific with it? I think is where some people get lost, right?
Well, yeah, and that's where this 3-step is. The first step I said, I went into
you through the steps first.
That's okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I told it who it was in detail. What's its work history, its work ethic. What hobbies does it have? If it's a complete marketing guru, then I'm going to find some really good marketing books and tell it, hey, you've read this book, because it will know it. How does it know it? Don't worry about that. All right. The second thing I tell it is exactly what I want from it. Okay. I want you to ask me 5 questions about the topic I'm going to give you in order to pull out the best answers from me. And these 5 questions are going to be conversational, natural sounding. And if you need to ask follow questions, you are free to do so. And so what that is going to allow ChatGPT is, like, I want to talk about people that are, worried about their kids moving into a new home. Then I told ChatGPT, hey, you're going to ask me questions about this. Okay. So that's the second thing I do. I'm very specific on what I want it to do.
Okay.
The last thing I'm very specific about with ChatGPT is I want to say the goal that I want to have as far as an output goes, which means I'm going to tell it, you're going to take my answers, you're going to analyze them, and you're going to either draft a story-driven post that I can use on my, Facebook or my Instagram, whatever channel that you're putting it on, or I want you to take these answers, analyze them, and create a 59-second Instagram reel that's conversational, natural sounding, what have you. And so when you do this, what makes ChatGPT sound like ChatGPT is that it has nothing to go off of but its knowledge, which is vast. Sure. But if I want posts to sound like me, then that's why I tell it to ask me questions. Because if I said, hey, tell me a time that when you first went to the rodeo, and what was that like? And then you're like, oh, it was about this. And then now tell me more about that. Now tell me more about that. So what was your first experience with that? You're drawing on memories and knowledge that you have, but for agents, we just struggle getting it out. But if someone asks me something about it, I can totally give it to you. So that's what we leverage AI to do.
Well, I think what you said is incredibly important, because like I said, it's, people talk about how to get you need this specific output, but I don't always know that everyone knows how to get there, get from the start of it to get what they want out of it. Does that make sense?
It does. And so what I will tell realtors or agents or the vast planet that listens to this is you should never fault yourself for not knowing. It's okay not to know, but laying out the steps that I just told you how to get there is you've got to.
When I first started playing with it, I use it for, if I need some topic ideas for my podcast, or if I need to put together the discussion notes really quickly and I don't have time to talk to you.
Right.
I use it more for creating my own content too. But when I first started playing with it, I didn't know what to do with it. I hadn't taken a class or anything.
Right.
I mean, it literally had just come out. And then I was getting those error messages like, I'm busy now, come back later. And I'm like, I don't have time for that. So
I'm incredibly busy.
Yeah.
You'll need to come back later.
The busy sound that I'm getting from ChatGPT. So we upgraded the subscription. So then I became paid. Then I didn't get that message anymore. And so I would just play with it. But I like the fact that you're laying out specific direction for whoever's listening to get to their output quicker.
Yes.
Because just sitting there and playing with it and eventually getting there is what I did, because there wasn't this when I started playing with it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
We're talking about ChatGPT.
Anyway, so kind of going back to how do you turn your ideas into a post, story, or a script? So we put all of this into ChatGPT. We got our script or our reel or it'll do the video for. Will it do the video for you now?
It'll write a script. It'll write a script for you.
Will it put it in a video? No, not yet.
We're getting there. If you want to go,
noise that it was going to be doing.
They have text to video. I think the example I saw was woolly mammoths walking in a snow-covered forest, and it just, if you see the video,
woolly mammoths
with 3 legs, but that's okay. It's getting there.
So it will turn it into our script so that we can then make our video.
Yes,
but we're not ready we don't have anything to use to record our video.
That's step 3. That is step 3. They're like, wait a minute. There's step 1 has 3 steps. Step 2 has 3 steps. Step 3, how many steps does step 3 have? It doesn't. It's step 3.
So create an easily accessible system for recording content. That's the next one. But I'm gonna throw out a quote that you said yesterday.
Okay.
I did that to Amber. When she was on my podcast, I wrote down a quote she said, and then I used it in the next morning when I introduced her.
And did you like it?
I did.
It's a good quote.
So this one is, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems.
So
Kabam.
Good. It's actually from, that was what James Clear, who said he wrote Atomic Habits.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, you wrote it.
You don't, that's from me. But he actually got it from a Greek poet who said, we rise to the level of our expectation. We don't rise to the level of our expectations. We fall to the level of our training, which is relatively the same thing. Yeah. So what does that mean? And why did we just use that quote right now? That is a third step. That is, you need to have a system in place for putting content out quickly. And that could be something as easy as a ring light or tripod in one corner of your home that just doesn't move. Most agents, the phones that we have are so powerful now that we lean on them for basically everything. And this has also bled into content. And so there are video camera, there are phone, which is fine. It's a really great camera. However, if I don't have a environment that's easy for me to create content, then I'm relying on memory or, I got to put my phone out, I got to get the tripod, and we got to get all this stuff out. And that becomes an inconvenience or an aggravation, and then we're less likely to do it. But if you know that you could walk into your office, there's this one corner set up, where you've got a tripod, you've got a ring light or whatever, and you can just pop your phone in, you connect your mic, and you're ready to go, then it's all about reducing the friction. You can just go. The decreasing amount of friction between the idea that you have for content and the content output itself, the easier I can make that, the better.
100%. Because most of us don't record any content at all.
We don't.
Ever.
Well, and what I've been saying ever since I've been teaching a long time, is that you don't get to be a realtor until you're an effective marketer. That's the world that we live in. And you can not like marketing, you can not like social media, you can not like that all you want, but you will not like that into your extinction.
Yeah, but that applies to more than just the realtor.
Of course.
You cannot be an effective salesperson before you can master marketing.
Absolutely.
And that includes social media and content creation these days. That's just an automatic part of it.
So how do we make the content creation process easier? And that is about, what do you have in place? And it doesn't take a lot. Like I don't have the money to go out and spend, $1,000 on a DSLR camera, another $800 on a lens, well then great, use your phone. That's fine. But at the very least, your first purchase should be a mic. It doesn't have to be like amazing microphone. Like this is product.
Well, I think you were talking about this. I think I saw a video where you were talking about the mic.
Yeah.
The portable mic or the wireless mic. Didn't you just do a video on that?
I did.
Not too long ago? Okay, I saw it. Because I was talking to Phoebe, she's my junior rep. And I said, I didn't, if you look back at my YouTube channel, like some of the first stuff, for years, especially during COVID, because we would come in and do stuff like this, it's sitting at a table at Lawyer's Title with my escrow officer. Look, we're looking at each other on the video going, what title problem did you see today that you want to tell everyone about? So like that's how it's an easy way to get started. Your people already know what you look like. They know what you sound like. They love you and trust you just the way that you are. And you're literally trying to give them information that they need. Yeah. Right. And so it doesn't always have to be in the most fancy place with the most fancy equipment. Sometimes it's just a matter of sitting down. Yeah. Like I said, with your phone, I have a ton of videos like that.
And like I said, that's really great to get started. Here's what I will say. And this is why, number one, I like this because it's only $150. It's like the cheapest wireless mic. It works with my iPhone and it's the size of a button.
My Amazon store.
That's my mic. Oh, I should have
one.
You
should have an Amazon store.
Oh my gosh. Brilliant.
I know.
But that's the mic. And so why do I would want you to want a mic? We are far more forgiving when it comes to bad video than we are bad audio.
Could you start an Amazon store? Because I might order some stuff.
As many questions I've had is like, what is that? Where'd you get that? I'll put it in a store.
Yeah, I think it's a really great idea.
So if you take a look back, let me take you back to do you remember your favorite TV show back in the day?
Like when back in the
Happy
day?
Days.
When I was a kid?
Yeah.
I don't know. I was probably pretty dorky in Brady Bunch or
Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm not that old, but
I never said that.
Reruns.
So here's and this is why I want to bring it up, is that television back in the day, maximum was like 480 resolution.
Oh, we had the TV with the turn. I am that old.
But it was okay. It was blurry. If you actually watch it back now, it's really blurry.
Oh, yeah.
But it was okay because the sound was fine.
To support your point, I have a friend who takes really crappy photos. They're always blurry, and I think her finger's over I'm serious, and she posts them on Facebook, and I'm like, oh, there she goes again. But I heart them and always comment, like, it looks like you're having a great time, and I love her. Anyway, I already know what she looks like.
But when it comes to video and sound, if it's windy and I can't hear a word you're saying, or you're really far back from your phone and it's echoey because you're in a massive room, these are things that we're not really so forgiving about. So again, I'm fine with you filming for your phone if you just have to. The first piece of equipment that if you could afford to get would be a mic.
I agree with that.
That's kind of the point for that.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. I've heard some really bad audio and I keep going.
Yeah, so.
Okay, we have a phone and we have a mic.
That's it.
That's it? We're done?
Well, I mean, you can start from there. I guess the bigger picture of this, I'm talking big picture, my wife would be so proud, is you need to have an environment that's set up that you could walk into, sit down, and do something.
Okay.
That's to me the most important aspect.
So that would be the tripod with the ring light, the microphone.
If you want, yeah, absolutely. That's it. Tripod.
What's the total cost of minus the phone? Because we already have it.
Well, you already have the phone, but you're probably still paying on it, because that's
we all are.
That's right.
Crap out after that.
Your microphone will cost you about $150.
Okay, and then the ring light's what, 50?
Ring light, yeah, $40-$50.
Okay.
Unless you have this, $200. Yeah, $200.
Okay.
$200 is preventing you from making content.
Well, and we didn't have this on here. Once you make it, then what?
Then you post it.
Just post it.
Post it.
You don't have to clip it and brand it and.
You can. But you don't have to.
I like that. Because again, the idea here is to make it really easy for people to create content. Let's take away all the excuses of why we can't do it.
And we hear a lot of them.
All of them. All of them. All the time.
Tell us your...
But look, I never did it until I did. You know what I mean?
But what made you?
Well, I'm a little different. I mean, I was doing sales presentations for years. So it's not much different than a sales presentation. I mean...
Kind of.
How?
To me, it's easier. Well,
this is easier.
This is way easier.
than a salesperson?
Way easier. I mean, I've taught.
That's what I'm saying. Like it wasn't as hard for me to come in and sit down and be on a video because I'd had so many years of like having to put my big girl panties on and go in front of the stage of 300 people and do a commercial or 3,000 people or whatever it was. That's harder to me.
To me, that's terrifying.
Is it?
Oh yeah.
You did it for years.
I know. Terrified.
Yeah.
Every time.
I mean,
but I had to do it. Well, I love doing it, but it was definitely tough. But this is way easier for me because I'm talking to a lens.
Tripod.
Hey, what's up? And that's your best. I have some people that put like pictures of like their family members.
Yeah, but I think what's scary for people is not actually sitting here and looking at a camera and record, because I'm looking at the camera. It's not scary, right? And so it's when it goes up on social media, that's when it's scary to people.
But they're not worried about the posting. They're worried about what other people will think about their posting.
That's right.
And so I don't know how to.
Well, I mean, the answer is your people already know I said this before. They already know what you look like. They already know what you sound like. They already love you. They trust you. And it's really just about providing education and value to them.
Well, that's the goal. I mean, we want, as realtors, we're indoctrined with, you need to get people to know you, like you, and trust you. And when you show them your personality, that's when they like you. When you bring them into your world, that's how they know you. And when you show them how you can help them, that's how they trust you. And if you're not doing that, then someone else will.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you could use just kind of going back to kind of recap what we were talking about. So you need to create your content ideas. You need to turn them into a post or a script, right? And then you need a few key pieces of equipment so that you can look your best on camera.
Yes.
But while keeping it easy for yourself.
While keeping it easy for yourself. We have a really cool setup at the house. Amber's got her.
I've seen it. And you put up pieces of equipment, and I'm like, I want that cord bundler thingy.
I want all that.
So I text
I've got a desk set up. Amber's got a desk set up. But we've also been doing this for over a decade.
That's right.
We didn't have all that when we first started. We had some Logitech. You go to a convention. What is it?
Yeah, I have the tripod. Okay, and I do this stuff all the time.
Right, and so that's where it began. And the more you do it, it's just something a part of your business. But I think that's.
Whoa, don't glaze over that, because what you just said is actually a pretty big point.
Oh.
The more you do it, the more it just becomes a part of your business.
Yeah.
The real answer here to get started is you've just got to start doing it, because the first few times you do it, you're not going to probably be that good at it, right? The best thing you can do for yourself is not watch it, okay, and just get it up there and post it. True. But I think the answer is to really just start doing it, because after you've done, I mean, how many episodes have the guys done of the Only Real Estate Podcast Worth Listening? Did he say 216? 216 episodes that are, I forgot there's some undergrounds. But once you start doing 10 of them, 15 of them, it is really, content starts to come to you. You don't even have to think really about it as much. It's not hard to look at the camera and record a video. Mm-hmm. There's so many things that just become, you want to talk about effortless. It's really just taking the step and starting to do it on a regular basis.
Well, I always think that sometimes realtors get caught up in, they need to feel that they know everything about something before they even try it. And that's counterintuitive to everything in our life.
Oh, I was scared you were going to talk about equipment today. I was like, I know nothing about any of this stuff. And we're still going to do a podcast.
You don't have to know how a chair is made to sit in it. You just sit in it.
Thanks for simplifying that.
It's all about you. And again, it's so important is you've got to set it up and just to walk in and do it. Every person grabs a towel before they get into a shower. Why? Because you're going to need it when you get out. So in a bigger picture, you're setting up your environment to be conducive to making it easier for you to do something. And so take that same approach to your content creation. I need to have, I can't have 37 tabs open because I'm going to lose track. Something's going to distract me. It's on your calendar. It's at this time. This is what I'm doing. And if I'm okay with someone else helping my clients, then I'm not going to do it.
Ooh, that was a little bomb.
Well, it's just, I feel bad, and I feel bad because I don't worry about that. When you tell an agent, well, just do it, just do it. Just get over it, do it. there's something that they're feeling. There's an instant emotion. Typically it's fear. I'm afraid. You're not afraid of doing it. You're afraid what other people will think of you doing it. So that's really the true hurdle of what you have to get over. And I don't know how to help with that. I wish I did. I think a lot more agents would do video if we could not be worried about what someone else is going to think of it. But here's what I will tell you. The agents that are implementing video, the agents that have a consistent plan around marketing for us and our coaching clients, you know, would an extra 2 to 3 transactions a month to your business be motivation enough for you to do it?
I think that's a great thing to say. Say it again.
Would an extra 2 to 3 transactions a month to your business be motivation enough for you to step outside your comfort zone?
And start doing video.
And start doing video. It's hard to say no to that. I mean, that's for some agents, an extra 2 to 3 transactions a month.
It's a huge difference.
That's a good what?
It
could be
to their business.
$250,000, $500,000,
Yeah.
$750,000.
I'll do a video.
Right? Well, real estate related.
No. And that's where we're going to stop for today. Is there any last piece of advice? I mean, I think that what you said was the advice, right?
Yeah, I always tell people there's really only 2 ways to fail. Fail to continue and fail to learn. That's it. Everything else is a learning experience. I love learning. I love trying things because if I don't get the outcome that I want, then I learn what not to do.
Yeah.
And so I just think it's fun. I've always enjoyed marketing. I've been doing this for a very long time, and I still think it's fun to this day, and I love every minute of it.
Well, look, I've been, to your testament, I've been around you and Amber, and then also Kyle Draper's another one that's been really strong in trying to get people to embrace video for a very long time. I mean, we've been talking about this stuff for years and years and years, and I didn't embrace it until what? I think I've got 2 years worth of content on my YouTube channel.
Right. And I've been talking about video since 2010. So, yeah. I mean, and just 2 years ago you did, which is awesome, you know?
So we all have to start somewhere, and it's okay to start now.
Yep, absolutely.
Right? Because
absolutely.
A ton of your competitors, whoever they are, not just realtors, they're not doing it. And so why not do something to separate yourself and also make it easy for your people to stay in contact with you and you to stay in contact with them?
I completely agree.
Thank you, Jason.
Thanks for having me.
I hope you'll come back.
Yeah, sure.
Did we have fun?
I had a blast.
Okay. I always have a blast. Otherwise, what's the point in getting up every day?
Exactly.
If you don't love it. Anyway, thank you for joining us on another episode. I'm your host, Tamera Gady. If you like my content, you're really going to love my escrow team. So give me an opportunity to talk to you about your title needs and make it a great day.